I get it, you're scrolling through endless TV options, trying to figure out whether you'll end up with a gorgeous picture that makes every movie night feel cinematic, or just another pricey box that sits there gathering dust. The fear of dropping hard-earned cash on a set that looks amazing on paper but falls flat in the living room is real, especially when you're juggling a budget and a desire for something that actually fits your everyday viewing habits. If you're on the fence about the LG OLED C1 55-inch, stick around, because I dug into the details, read a lot of what owners are saying, and tried to separate the hype from the moments that truly matter. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most people ask is whether OLED is worth the premium over a good LED or QLED. OLED's claim to fame is that each pixel lights itself, giving true blacks and an infinite contrast ratio. In practice, that translates to a picture that looks almost three-dimensional when you're watching a dark-themed film like Blade Runner 2049. I've seen that effect in a dimly lit bedroom, and the depth felt genuine, not just a marketing buzzword. For anyone who spends evenings binge-watching series with heavy shadow work, think The Witcher or Stranger Things, that contrast advantage is a game-changer. But OLED isn't just about movie nights. Gamers often wonder if a TV can keep up with fast-paced action without ghosting or input lag. The C1 ships with a dedicated gaming mode that automatically turns on HDMI 2.1 features like 4K at 120Hz, low-latency processing, and variable refresh rate. When I hooked up a next-gen console and ran a quick test with a racing game, the screen responded almost instantly, and there was no noticeable smear during rapid motion. If you're the type who dives into Elden Ring or Call of Duty after work, that responsiveness is the kind of practical benefit you'll notice night after night. Now, let's talk about the everyday side of things. The TV's ThinQ AI and Alexa integration sound sleek, but does it make daily life easier? In my own setup, I used voice commands to switch inputs, pull up a Netflix title, and even dim the lights via a compatible smart hub, all without touching the remote. It's not a revolutionary shift, but the convenience factor adds up, especially when your hands are full with snacks or a remoteless controller. If you already have an Alexa ecosystem, the C1 slots in without a hitch. If you're not into voice assistants, the built-in feature simply sits there, harmless. One of the hidden trade-offs that pops up in forums is the risk of burn-in on OLED panels. The concern is that static elements like a news ticker or a game HUD might leave a faint ghost over time. LG mitigates this with pixel shift and logo luminance detection, and most owners report that under normal viewing habits they've never seen a problem after a couple of years. However, if you plan to use the TV as a primary monitor for a workstation that displays a static toolbar all day, you might want to think twice. In that niche scenario, a high-end LED with local dimming could be a safer bet. Price is always the elephant in the room. The C1 sits in the premium bracket, and you'll definitely feel the pinch compared to a mid-range 4K LED. Yet the value proposition isn't just the headline specs, it's the combination of picture quality, gaming features, and future-proof HDMI 2.1 support. If you're buying a TV that you intend to keep for 5 years or more, the ability to handle next-gen consoles and the next wave of HDR content without needing another upgrade is a tangible saving. On the other hand, if you're on a tight budget or only watch broadcast TV and a bit of YouTube, you might be better off with a more modest model and allocate those dollars elsewhere. So, who should press buy now? If you're a cinephile who loves the immersion of deep blacks, a gamer who wants a console-ready display without extra adapters, or a smart home enthusiast who likes voice control woven into the TV experience, the C1 hits the sweet spot. Its thin profile also makes it a stylish addition to a minimalist living room. No massive stand, just a sleek wall mount that feels like a piece of art. Conversely, if your primary use case is daytime TV, daytime sports, or you're running a static UI for long stretches, you might not extract enough of the OLED advantages to justify the cost. In that case, a quality LED with good local dimming could deliver a very satisfying picture at a fraction of the price. A practical weakness that slipped under the radar for many is the brightness ceiling. OLEDs, by nature, can't get as bright as the brightest LEDs, which matters in sunlit rooms. I tried watching a bright daytime reality show with the lights on, and while the colors stayed accurate, the overall luminance felt a touch low, requiring you to dim the room a bit. If your living space is full of